I recently competed at an event called War at the Market in Seattle. I brought a hobby weight and 2 beetle weights. So here's Sling Blade, Huge, and my new bot, Peacemaker. So let's kind of talk about a little bit about what's new, and then we'll go into the fights themselves. All right, so first up is Sling Blade, my hobby weight. I brought it out a few months ago, actually at the beginning of the year at the hobby show, and it had a good turnout, and it ended up finishing second. And the only real damage that it sustained was in the finals fight against Claw Viper. What happened was on the bottom side of the weapon pulley, there's a little metal piece that actually holds in the lower bearing. I'll take a look at it right now. So here's what the old one looked like, and it would just hold a bearing in the bottom like that. And so this is on the bottom side of the blade. And if you can see, there's just not very much material. And so it was kind of a point where I could tell that it was going to eventually break. But when I originally made this, I made this piece on the lathe, and this was the biggest piece of stock that I had, so I just went with it. And it held up pretty well for about a dozen fights, I would say. But then, yeah, it eventually broke, and so I needed to design something that was going to hold up a little bit more sturdy than that. So I went ahead and designed a new piece, and then, just like Christmas, it shows up from Send Cut Send, and we got a much beefier mount here. So my bearing can just pop right in there, and then it is nice and secure, and we're good to go. So that was pretty much the only new improvement that I made to Sling Blade going to this event. For Huge, it's actually the same exact setup as the last event at the Rumble in Redmond. And it's just going to move on from this design, so I just wanted to put it back in as is and see how it does. I did take the guts out of the old. I had a second copy of Huge. I took the guts out and put them into this new bot called Peacemaker, which is pretty much just a scaled down version of Sling Blade. So since I only had about 3 weeks since the Rumble in Redmond, I didn't have too much time to get everything done on this bot. So I did as best as I could, and the thing that I didn't get to finish was machining a aluminum pulley. So I just went ahead and printed some out of TPU and decided to see how that would work for this event. It's the first event for this, so I kind of wanted to just see, how it ran, and then go from there and see like what improvements I need to make to it. So let's go ahead and get into the actual fights. All right, so first up, Sling Blade was going into the arena first out of all the bots, and it was against another horizontal called T-Bone. And I've never fought T-Bone before, but I've seen him fight a lot, so I was pretty familiar with him, and I knew that his weapon is dangerous, it spins fast, but he does have problems keeping it running. So if you can kind of weather the first couple hits, and then there's a good chance that his weapon's not going to be working at full speed. So my strategy going into this is to try to minimize the damage taken on those first couple hits, and then go in, take him out, and take out the drive, hopefully disable the weapon, and let's go ahead and see how that one went.
3, 2, 1, fight! All right. Messy and loud, my favorite two things in the match. This one has the best potential. T-Bone's lost a weapon, a blade and a wheel. All right, T-Bone, I need to see some controlled motion there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over. What is green square for Sling Blade?
All right, so that was a great way to start my day. Got the win and didn't take too much damage. We did take a direct hit onto the side, and you can see here there's a split in the UHMW. But luckily it was strong enough to hold on there, and it wasn't bad enough that I needed to replace anything, and that's good because I actually didn't have any spare side panels for this event, so I was pretty lucky that it held on there. But that was pretty much it. All I had to do was recharge and get ready for my next fight. And up next we have Huge is getting in the arena, and it's against a brand new robot for this builder. It's his first bot, and it was called Michael's bot. And I think he was just basically trying to get a working bot into the arena and have some fun with it. So I wasn't too worried about, coming up with a strategy for it. I was just going to roll over the top of it and hit it, and let's see how that goes.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Alright, we will wobble your way in there.
All right. Huge makes his way across the arena, attacking a wall. Michael's bot. The new bot for us here at War. Like Huge is making the big hits, and Michael's bot has got a wheel in the air. Got that whole do-si-do spin thing going. So Michael's bot, I need to see some controlled motion. That's not impressing me. Oh, there's our tap out. Okay, your winner with a single hit is Huge.
Okay, so that went pretty much to plan, and we got the win. Nice quick fight. What did happen though was he had big monster truck tires, and it got ripped off and wrapped around the weapon. So it was a good thing that he was taken out right there, because after that happened, my weapon was pretty much bound up. So glad that it only took a couple hits and then he was out of there. So all I had to do was untangle that and recharge and move on to the next fight. All right, so now it's time for the debut of Peacemaker. He's up against an SSP kit called Hook Thing. He's going with a AR 500 plow on the front, and those are always pretty difficult for horizontals. The SSP is pretty durable kit, and I knew my best strategy would be to try to get around to the sides and take out one of the wheels. So that's pretty much what I was trying to do, is avoid head-on collisions with the plow, get around to the sides. So let's go ahead and see how that one goes.
3, 2, 1, fight! Alright, that's the first time I have seen Peacemaker out, but he's appears to be living up to his name. Hook Thing's lost a piece of armor on the right side of his bot. There's something all around there. Hook Thing sneaking under Peacemaker. thing. Taking Peacemaker into the corner there, and it looks like Peacemaker has lost his belt. So. Tank got a hit, got a fish, got a slam to the wall. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over. This goes to the judges.
So it was a pretty good first run for Peacemaker. I was pretty happy with how everything worked. As I suspected, the pulley, the TPU pulley just couldn't hold up. Once I lose the weapon on this guy, there's not really too much I can do. Just drive around, hope that the other bot runs out of batteries or dies or something. So, it was a little disappointing, but I kind of figured that was going to happen. So, anyway, we know what to improve on for the next one, and we'll just keep moving on in the tournament. So, up next is Sling Blade is back in versus Clip It, which is a vertical spinner. And I fought him once before and just had a head-on hit weapon to weapon and ended up breaking his weapon. So figured, you know what, why not just try the same thing? So let's see how that goes.
3, 2, 1, fight! That's the bearing, and I don't know. Motor's still spinning. It looks like
Oh man, that was really disappointing. I felt like we were doing great. Got a couple of good hits in on Clip It, and he actually ended up losing his weapon. So I figure a couple more hits like I was getting, I would have been able to take him out, but. And I ended up losing all control, and Sling Blade just ended up fail-safing into a circle, which isn't great. So I had to take it out and then figure out what was wrong with it. And the only thing that's powering the receiver is from the weapon ESC. So I figured that I had I had burnt out the ESC when I hit the wall. So I ended up taking all the tape off, and I was about to unsolder that and put in a new one. And then I figured, wait, why don't I just try a new receiver in there and see how that works, see if that's a problem. Popped it in, and it powered up great, and everything was functioning. So somehow the receiver just died when we hit the wall, which is really unfortunate because I figured we were doing pretty well in that fight. So it kind of sucks to lose that way, but what can you do? And anyway, it was ready to go and move on to his next fight. So actually up next is Huge versus Killer Croc, which I think I've fought about 10 times in the last couple events. So we're very familiar fighting each other. Another big wheel bot, and very durable. And the only way to really take it out, in my opinion, is to take its drive out. So that's my best bet, is to try to go for a wheel and take him out that way. So let's go ahead and see how that one went.
3, 2, 1, fight! Croc comes out with a bang! And a bang! You just flip around backwards, it's hard to tell. Huge. Not exactly a balanced blade this fight. Killer Croc popped over towards the pit. Killer Croc looks like he lost the wheel there. And is at the edge of being pulled there. doing a death spin. This is a combat competition, not a dance competition, so we don't do points for style. Alright. Looks like Huge is not playing with his blade, but he's got Killer Croc kind of pin there. I say kind of pin. Alright, release pin, Huge. Alright, 30 seconds remaining. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this one goes to the judges.
All right, so it actually turned out on the very first hit, we ended up sniping right in between the wheel and the body and hitting one of the drive motors and totally locking that up. And so he was down one side of drive from the very first hit. So that gave us the mobility advantage. And then after a couple of hits, I was using the same TPU that I was using on Peacemaker's pulley, and that ended up shattering and it was binding up. So I didn't have weapon for too long in this match, so I ended up having to try to become a control bot, which I've never successfully done with Huge before. So that was actually kind of cool to get him pinned for a couple times, and that actually ended up winning me the fight. Got more control and pretty equal damage, I would say. So that just being able to do that was what edged out on the points. So Huge is 2-0 moving on, and I had to replace the weapon pulley there. It was all bound up, so had to do that and then get it ready and then it was ready to go again. So up next is Sling Blade versus Toothless, and Toothless is it's a pressure bot and it had a little lifter on it, and I think they took the lifter off for this fight, so it was just a wedge bot. And I believe it has some magnet downforce. So all I can really do is just try to keep on hitting it until it breaks. So let's see how that goes.
2, 1, fight!
Exposed back heel. Saw a big dent in the back of the and a tap out. Okay. And the winner is England.
All right, that was a great fight. Went pretty much to plan. Not too much to say about it. Didn't take any damage, so it was just recharge the batteries and move on to the next fight. All right, so up next is Peacemaker versus Falling Guillotine, which is another horizontal spinner. So it's pretty similar to my first fight with Sling Blade and T-Bone. My strategy is just to try to drive around and take out a side, but it's pretty tough with pretty much two very similar bots. So, kind of just pretty much attack and try to go head on and just see who breaks first. So let's see how that goes.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, fight. Horizontal on horizontal. Oh, something orange went flying, something more orange went flying, and Peacemaker.
All right, so it's becoming quite apparent that the TPU just doesn't hold up for this application. We knew that going into it, so no big surprise there. But I feel like Peacemaker has a lot of potential, and I think just some improvements that can be pretty competitive. So in that fight, the weapon pulley just completely exploded, took that out, and then he also got a hit on the side here and ripped off a good portion of the side rail that mounts the wheel. So that ended up binding up, couldn't drive, so I just ended up tapping out quick. But I think that if I make a beefier side rail here, and then do some work on make a aluminum pulley here, I think this should be pretty good to go. So that's my plan for the next event, which I believe will be in February for me. So got some time to work on that. So that's the plan there. And then up next is Huge was going back into the arena, and after I did the repair on the pulley, I put it into the test box to make sure everything was working, and it turned out that the weapon ESC had actually burned out when the weapon got bound up. So I ended up having to forfeit, and I didn't have any spares to bring in. So it was 2-0, and then I ended up having to forfeit the next 2 fights because I just couldn't get it going. So and I wanted to concentrate on getting Sling Blade going since it was doing well. So anyway, that is the last fight for this version of Huge, and it's going to be retired, and then we're going to completely redesign it and get that going next year. So looking forward to that. All right, so up next is Sling Blade versus Hemlock, which is another vertical spinner similar to Clip It. So I'm going in with pretty much the same strategy, try to get around to the side, and if I can go weapon on weapon, that's fine. I think, I'll see who lasts longer, who can hold up. So let's go ahead and see how that one went.
Go, 3, 2, 1, fight. That was loud. That was loud. Hemlock, I need to see control motion. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your winner is Sling Blade.
All right, so another great fight. Didn't really take any damage. Got out of there pretty quick. So all it was recharge the batteries and then going up into my final fight. And if we win this one, we take first place. So up next, we're fighting a melty brain called Super Tiki. And this thing is just a brick of AR500 with strong drive motors and AR500 blades. So it's really tanky. And since it's a melty, there's really no strategy of where to hit it. You just got to go in and just keep trying to hit them, and hopefully they break before you do. So let's go ahead and see how that one went.
3, 2, 1, fight! Ooh, Super Tiki is alive. We get more 12-pound dog fighting.
Want to be faster?
That's a bad place to be bumping around, I'm just saying. Alright, another big hit for Super Tiki, and Super Tiki looking a little dead there, Super Tiki. Oh, there we go. Wow.
That's it.
Alright, Super Tiki, I need to see some controlled motion. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match over. Your winner, Sling Blade.
All right, so Sling Blade is the hobby weight champion for War at the Market. Pretty awesome to get a first place finish. Haven't had one of those for a while, so that was nice. It was a great fight, and that thing, I kept thinking that it was dead, so at first I kind of gave him some room, and then he just kept spinning back up. So towards the end there, I was just decided I'm just going to keep hitting them until they start getting counted out. So that's what we did, and it worked out great. Now for the future for Sling Blade, what I'm going to do is switch up to an AM32 ESC on drive. I think that's going to make it a little bit more controllable, because right now it's kind of tough when you get the blade going full blast. And then I've got BL Heli 32 in there right now, and it's a little sketchy, so it's kind of hard to control. I mean, sure, you notice that in some of the fights, a lot of oversteer, and it's just not very responsive. So I think that's going to help out a lot, and also help with those fail-safe issues that I had in the Clip It fight. So that'll be nice to have a bot that just stays put when it has a fail-safe instead of spinning uncontrollably. That'll be nice. So we got that going on, and then I think I'm going to do a little bit of work on some of the TPU holders for the electronics, just make them hold in a little bit better. But other than that, I think it's pretty good to go. And I think the next event would be at the next hobby show in April, I believe. So I've got some time to work on it and see if there's anything else that I want to fix up on it. But until then, we'll see you on the next one.